Hello and welcome to Indian Markets Unveiled, a daily market bulletin where we tell you all that's buzzing in the Indian market as well as the global market. We try and give you the crux of what's happening throughout the market so that you can plan your day before the session starts. So like always, let's start with the global cues. Just like domestic markets, the earnings season has picked up in the US market as well. The stock futures inched lower on Tuesday evening as the earnings seasons did pick up steam. One can say that the US market closed with a mixed bag towards the downside, where S&P and Nasdaq did close in red signs. However, the Dow Jones tried to support the market to some extent. To be precise, the Nasdaq ended lower while the Dow and S&P 500 were nearly flat on Tuesday as Treasury yield rose and shares of chip makers fell after Biden administration said it planned to halt shipments of advanced artificial intelligence chips to China. So economic indicative action doing rounds in the global market, and it did impact the US markets. US stocks ended flat to lower Tuesday as investors eyed strong consumer spending data for September and third quarter earning results, offset by a rise in Treasury yield after healthy economic data suggested the Federal Reserve may keep interest rates higher for longer. The 2-year US yields hit the highest since 2006, while those on 10-year notes jumped 13 basis points to 4.8. There were news flows and triggers doing rounds in the global market, and the latest data, which came in for China September retail sales, did rise to 5.5% year-on-year versus estimate of 4.9% growth. Again, the China September industrial output did rise 4.5% on a year-on-year basis versus the estimate of 4.4% rise, and China Q3 GDP did grow 4.9% on a year-on-year basis versus estimate of 4.5% growth. Also, don't forget the commodities market, and if we have a look at the sentiment of the commodities market overnight, taking a look at the energy pack, Brent crude is trading with 1.5% up move at $90 to $91 a barrel, whereas WTI crude is trading at around $87 a barrel. It will be rational to consider that oil prices edge higher ahead of Biden Middle East trip, so a trigger which is impacting the energy pack. Also, the natural gas is trading higher with greens, as we see, with around 0.5% up move. In fact, while overnight Brent crude was trading between $90 to $91, the current rate on Brent crude is $92 per barrel. Taking a look at the precious metals, gold and silver did firm upwards as Middle East risks did see safe haven appeal. One considers moving towards the safe haven assets while the markets are volatile and risky. The gold, silver and copper all are trading with signs of positivity as we see around 1.5% up move in the global markets for the precious metals. And lastly, as we see the base metals barring copper are not shining, where we did see zinc and aluminium witnessing a downtrend of around 1%. So clearly, the commodities markets see an up move when we talk about the energy pack and the precious metals. However, the base metals are not performing. And lastly, when we take a look at the Asian market setup, the Asia market edged lower ahead of key China data, where we see Nikkei, Kospi seeing downtrend, with Hong Kong trying to support the Asian market front. The GIFT Nifty has opened up with the marks of red, indicating a start in red for the Indian market as well. So this is how the global market setup looks like, and as we clearly see, there is volatility as the US market did close towards the downside, and the Asian markets have started with downside as well. One should clearly keep an eye on the commodities market. Let us now take a look at the trade setup for today, considering how the market looked like while they closed yesterday and what are the sentiments looking like for today. The markets closed higher for the first time in the last 4 consecutive sessions, though it remained in the range of 19,500 to 19,850 on 17th of October. The Nifty 50 ended at the previous week's high and faced a hurdle at 19,850 on the higher side. Hence, if the index decisively closes above this mark, then it can march towards the 19,000 to 20,000 area, provided it takes immediate support at 19,750 to 19,700 levels. As we clearly see, as the beginning of the global market today seems to be muted, one needs to consider that the eventual impact can be seen on the domestic market also. However, we can't forget that the markets were in action yesterday. Talking about the Sensex, the BSE Sensex jumped 261 points to 66,428, while the Nifty 50 climbed 80 points to 19,812. And we also did see action over there as a lot many stocks were trying to see an up move. The broader markets continued their upward journey with the Nifty mid-cap and small-cap indices rising with a lot more stock-specific and sector-specific approach. Talking about the key support and resistance levels for Nifty and Bank Nifty, the Nifty may take support at 19,784, followed by 19,767 and 19,738. On the higher side, 19,841 can be an immediate resistance, followed by 19,858 and 19,886. On 17th of October, the Bank Nifty formed a bearish candlestick pattern, and we did see that there was a volatility seen in banks and financials. However, one needs to consider that the heavy bank numbers have started coming in. The Bank Nifty closed higher by 184 points at 44,410 and formed higher top, higher bottom formation after losing around 180 points from the day's high. So clearly, Bank Nifty opened gap up, however, was unable to capitalize on the gains and it corrected intraday. During the entire session, Bank Nifty tried to maintain its level. However, at the end of the day, we absolutely did see intraday correction. However, the dip is likely to witness buying interest in the zones of 44,350 to 44,300, where support in the form of the key hourly moving averages are placed. Considering that the global setup is not supporting, if the markets, the Indian markets still see an up move, there are chances that for Bank Nifty, a pullback can be seen towards 45,000 from a short-term perspective. On the downside, 44,100 to 44,000 shall act as a crucial support. Let us now take a look at all the results which will be coming in during the session today. Companies like Wipro, IndusInd Bank, Bajaj Auto, LTI Mindtree, Bandhan Bank, Astral, Persistent System, Polycab India, Titagarh Rail Systems, UTI Asset Management Company are a few which will be posting their numbers. Even apart from them, there is a list of cash companies which will be posting the numbers during the session. So one needs to keep an eye on all of these companies and the stock prices before the results. Let us now quickly move towards the stock-specific action as well as the results which came in post the market hours yesterday. Starting with Bajaj Finance, the non-banking finance company has registered a massive 28% year-on-year increase in profit after tax at 3,551. Net interest income during the same period increased by 26% to 8,845 crore, with the number of new loan booking rising at 26% to 8.53 million, while asset under management grew by 33% to 2.9 lakh crore as on September 2023. So good set of numbers coming in from Bajaj Finance. One needs to keep an eye on the stock price. L&T Technology Services, well, the engineering service company has recorded a 1.4% sequential growth in net profit at 315 crore for the quarter ending September FY24, with operating numbers coming in above analyst estimate. Revenue for the quarter also increased by 3.7% on a quarter-on-quarter basis to 2,386 crore, with dollar revenue rising 2.9% to $288 million and constant currency top-line growth at 3.2% in the same period. So L&T Technology Services, another company which posted a decent set of numbers. The third in the list is Zensar Technologies, as the company has reported a net profit of 173 crore for the quarter ended September FY24, growing 11% over the previous quarter, with EBIT rising 3.5% to 194 crore and EBIT margin expanding 40 basis points quarter-on-quarter basis to 15.7%. Revenues from operation increased by 1% sequentially at 1,241 crore for the quarter. The next in the list is Tata Elxsi, as there is a news flow, a stock-specific result-based impact which can be seen in the stock price today, as the design-led technology services company has clocked 5.9% sequential growth in net profit at 200 crore for the July-September period, with revenue rising 3.7% to 882 crore during the same period. So as we clearly see, one more set of number, VST Industries, and this number was on the negative side, because the Hyderabad-based cigarette manufacturer has reported a 17% year-on-year decline in net profit at 76 crore, with tapered growth in top line, lower profit before tax and other income. Revenue from operations for the quarter increased by 2.8% on a year-on-year basis at 452 crore. So clearly, as we see, the result-specific action is seen in the market, and even today, majority of the big numbers like Bajaj Finance, L&T Technology Services, Zensar Technologies and Tata Elxsi posted strong set of numbers, so one should keep an eye on the result-backed action. Talking about the news flows, Mazagaon Shipbuilder. The state-owned shipbuilding company has signed a contract with the acquisition wing of the Ministry of Defence for the construction of delivery of one training ship for Indian Coast Guard at a cost of 310 crore. So one needs to keep an eye on Mazagaon Shipbuilders on the back of this news flow. And last but not the least, Housing and Urban Development Corporation, Hudco. The Government of India will be selling stake up to 3.5% of total paid up equity on October 18th and 19th, with an option of additionally selling around 7 crore equity shares in case of oversubscription option if exercised. Well, the floor price has been fixed at 79 rupees per share. So keep an eye on Hudco on the back of this news flow. And now let's take a look at the FIIs and DIIs data. The foreign institutional investors bought shares worth 263 crore, while domestic institutional investors purchased 112 crore worth of stocks on 17th October. So clearly the FIIs buying is being seen in the market, and the DIIs are also constantly supporting the markets. So this is how the trade setup looks like. As we clearly see, there is volatility in the market, and one needs to consider the result-specific action which is constantly seen in the market. But also try and understand that the volatility in the global market can see an eventual impact on the domestic market also. The Indian market will have to show the signs of its own positivity and result-backed action if they have to maintain the levels which we see. Of course, 19,000 and above levels are something which are to be watched out, but the market will have to have its own support, have its own positivity and its own strength, as the global markets today are not supporting as much. With this, we come to the wrap of Indian Markets Unveiled for today's session. One should understand that irrespective of market conditions, research is the backbone of successful portfolio creation. Wealth creation is an art that we understand. We at Elxsi have our exclusive research services which are powerful and successful. To avail our exclusive research services, we invite you to join us. Just click on the link below and you are done. Fill in your basic details and our team will reach out to you. So don't wait any further and embark on the wealth building adventure together. Thank you and have a nice day.